How to write a love letter for the natural. So, I've talked about how to write love letters like, and then we talk about also how to write love letters for, because it's very different. And it's interesting because from one hand you're writing for somebody, and on the other hand you're writing like who you are. And so I actually recommend all the time that you go check out also the writers ones later just to see who you're like as well, so you mesh it well together. Because you don't want to write like ChatGPT in the sense of you don't want to write for somebody, but there is no identity behind it. So, how to write like yourself? Figure out then with the writers. I'll have hopefully put it into a playlist. If not, you can also look it up with my name. And how to write for the natural. The natural is what we're going through now. This is from The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. And it's interesting. I think it's very interesting. I also think it's good to have like some archetypes because I don't know your person you're writing for, and so it's difficult to tell how to write for them if I don't know them. So we're going to do some archetypes. We've gone through quite a bit of them. We're going to keep going through them. I would love at some point though to be able to do the Instagram thing where you give me like 5, 6, 7, 8 traits of the person you want to write a love letter for, and then I can like specify. The second we have some like people and I can do all of these like Q&As and specified things, I'm so excited for it because it's far more fun to have like a little bit more of an interactive thing than for me to stare into a screen and speak. Not that I don't love that, but I'm very excited for all of that. Okay, so the natural. First, you need to figure out if she is the natural. So, what is the natural? She creates ease. It's a quite self-explanatory name. It's not the cool girl. It's the very like chill. And cool and chill are not the same. Chill can be someone who does yoga and wakes up at 6 o'clock in the morning, whereas cool is very like, I don't care. Whereas chill is, I do care, just not about this. There is a calmness, obviously, to chill that there isn't in cool. And she creates ease. And she's nice. And she's very like, I'll give you an example of the natural. So you know if the person you're writing for is the natural. So the natural, one of the most famous ones is Marilyn Monroe. Now, what you will have seen in the series, if you've watched from the beginning, is that multiple types can be in multiple ones. So Lord Byron can be quite a few of them. Marilyn Monroe can be quite a few of them. And that actually is probably the pinnacle of their appeal, is that they're not even just one archetype to the max. There are a lot of them. So, Marilyn Monroe. She radiates a childlike innocence mixed with sensuality. I talked about this in the Lord Byron video. She's very interesting because, and they had their timing in common, but I'm not going to digress into Lord Byron, as I tend to like to do, is she is fantasy provoking, and obviously because she's beautiful, but also because she's not like intense. She's just like, You can very much picture Marilyn Monroe like frolicking through the fields. But you also can imagine her there. You can imagine her there. There's this like inability to put her in a box because you can't say she's innocent, but you also can't say she's not innocent. So the natural tends to like be very undefinable because nature, I know that's not maybe where the natural comes from, but nature is not definable. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it pours, sometimes there's sun, sometimes there's not. Sometimes you get a sunburn, sometimes you don't. You can't define nature. Even if you're in the same place, if you're in the same country, even if you're in a country where there's not that many like strict seasons, nature's still a bitch. No, I'm joking. But nature's still like all over the place. Ugh, I wish the weather was warm. Anyways. Came across as playful, spontaneous, emotionally open-minded, made people feel needed and protected and alive. It's unforced. The charm is unforced and almost feels unconscious. It feels very like she embodied vulnerability without weakness. The natural seduces by awakening people's childhood feelings, warmth, safety, joy, while still being magnetic and desirable. So someone that you're where that description fits, that's the person you want to write for. And how to write for that person? What does someone who's natural need? A raincoat, a weather coat, sunscreen. You're like, what? Okay, poet, can you speak to the rest of us like normal people? Yes. What does a natural need? What nobody sees. This is the common through line. If you want to write a love letter for anybody, and this is difficult, it's an easy sentence to difficult life, is, I like that sentence, what exists in them but is not spoken about. The really beautiful woman does not need another compliment about how beautiful she is. She'll take it, it's very nice. It's not like to say, oh, don't give anyone. But she probably doesn't need that. She probably needs a compliment about her intelligence, about the things she's working towards, or about her kindness, or whatever she's at. Is she volunteering? What is she giving to the world where she's like, how about you kind of dig a little deeper? And so that's a cheat code to all love letters. Figure out what they actually need to hear. But don't lie. But that's a fundamental rule. What does she actually care about? What does the natural actually care about? That's what you need to write the love letter about. You're like, how do I know what she cares about? Because she cares about it. So, for example, aren't I in a great mood today? For example, like Kourtney Kardashian, for example, is one of the people who falls under the natural slightly. Within reason. What does she care about? Matcha. I write to you today for the love letter of you and your love affair with matcha. No, but like, she cares about matcha and she cares about health and wellness and she has those gummies. And she really cares about that. And so instead of writing a love letter to someone who's really chill and being like, you're so chill, nobody's ever been as chill as you except Russian winters. Like, no, that's weird. Like, please. They're not going to take this as a compliment. They just sound like they're cold. It's about appreciating the things that are actually the opposite of their personality. So they're chill, they're vibing, they're matching through the frolicking widow word, whatever. I'm losing the train and losing the words for it. But what do they care about? So like with Kourtney, you would point out to her care for nature and health and that I think there was one clip where she didn't have internet in her backyard because of the radiation, and all of these little things that you can pick up on, and the intentionality of her health and how much she cares about her kids' health, whatever. I don't know her personally, obviously. So, but you need these like cornerstone things that they do care about. Because I think, this is my personal opinion, the essence of a chill, like calm yoga type of person is that they do give a huge fuck about some things. Nobody cares about nothing. The people who care about too many things don't care tensely enough about some things. Does that make sense? Like someone who, let's take people pleasers for example. People pleasers are probably like the direct opposite of the natural, I would say. They care about too many people. They want to please everyone. That is the issue. Wanting to make some people happy is not the issue. Wanting to make yourself happy is not the issue. It's when you're either selfish or a people pleaser. It's too much intensity and it's too far spread. Like a selfish person, if it was balanced, they'd be like, okay, you care about your health. In that area, you can of course be selfish. Like you don't need to eat the cupcake to make the person feel good. Don't eat the cupcake. They'll survive and you need to be healthy. Do you want to make a person happy on their birthday and not rant around on their own birthday? Yeah, go ahead. But it's when you take it to these extremes that it like gets like jittery and stressed out. The natural does not, in the inverse, not care about anything. She cares. She cares about her health. She cares about the matcha lattes. She cares about, like, there are things she has to care about. Because otherwise, what are you? Are you high? Like, how are you this chill? Like, there needs to be, she cares about her routine. She cares that, I've yet to have met a really chill person who is chill with everything. they're on something, or they're lying. Like, you're just not that. Your brain functions the same as everybody else's. It's not like stupid or chill people have less calorie needs because their brain functions less. Like, your brain is still there. Your brain is still active. So it's gonna have to think about something. So there are things that they care about, and they might be less obvious. Are they volunteering? Are they babysitting for free? Are they, like, what is it that lights them up? What are their interests? What are the things that they might, and this is the appeal of this love letter for them, they might not be someone who's like talking about it 24/7. They might not, but they might do it very often. They might care about it very often. They might bring it up once in a while, but with such intensity and happiness. And I think that's really cool. And I think that's what you should hone in on with someone that's chill, is their non-chillness. Yes, of course you could write 1 or 2 lines about, it feels like I am sunbathing after the beach with you because you're so chill. It feels like you're the constant wave of whatever. Like, you can do that, of course. And there's something to be said about that. Those are very cute compliments as well. And especially if they were not someone that was always chill, there's something nice about being acknowledged for any things you have improved on, and also being acknowledged for who you are and how you are portrayed. Because this is the thing with love letters written for, like, to women. You want to strike the balance between, yes, seeing what is like very front facing. You don't want to not compliment their looks at all, but you don't want to get stuck there, because most people get stuck there and then there's nothing else complimented. That's when it gets like boring. Yeah. And let's see my notes. I'll leave you with this very fun last line for the natural. This is to keep in mind when you write the love letter. Fill in the blanks and interpret the lines. Do not interpret the blanks and fill in the lines. Don't like scratch out things and be like, no, you don't care about this. I think you should care about this more. Like, you do not, because they're so chill, you do not now like change things around. Don't do that. You fill in the blanks. So you're like, I think you're so chill because, yes, you can do that. Or you can interpret the lines. You can interpret her, even her thing. Like, if you quote some things she said, that I think that's also really cute. I think if they're so natural and chill, everyone loves to be listened to. And so quoting direct things from someone always lands really well, because people like being listened to, and it's a beautiful feeling like you're being seen. I think that's a universal feeling. Unless someone's like cripplingly insecure, most people like to feel seen. Yeah, so check out the things that are about to be coming up soon, but yeah, you can leave the love letter in the comments and I can give you some notes and ask you some questions, things to add in. Obviously, if you want to, I would love to see her reaction, and you can tag me on TikTok so I can see it. But if privacy reasons you can't do that, that also is fine and makes sense. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you soon. Are you a question or an answer? The fools who think to stand alone with an idea is scary are the same that see comfort in the majority. But if the majority was right, no one would write. No one would think to raise a pencil to each of the new empty papers. Nobody would want to turn paper into pages. Because the peace a writer searches for in a blank page would be found in the world. The discussion of right or wrong is subjective, yet, most of the time, the ideas we love would fade away as quickly as everybody else. We love to be loved, but don't love to be questioned. Yet, wouldn't you rather be a question everybody answers differently than an answer nobody knows? They might never see you, and you might never see them. They might never see you. They might never hear the disappointment in your silence. They might never know the sentences you want to say but don't, in fear of sounding like a broken record. They might never see all the insecurities you don't point out to them. because you're scared they will stand out to them now too. They might never see the small changes in your pupils when you look at them, because they never see your eyes when you don't look at them. They might never see you outside of the context of them. They might never hear the small sighs in the morning when you start another day trying to be better, but being pretty sure you will fail. They will never hear the songs you skip because they make you too emotional. They will never hear all the things you think are so clear, but you never said to them. You might go through life hearing different reviews of the series of books which is your life, none true, but some quite inventive and far-fetched. You might never be seen or heard the way you crave to be. But maybe you will, and that maybe makes it exciting. That small string of maybes might hold you up. It is what makes you go out on yet another date you hate, to get dressed, to get to know someone outside of their home, to try to talk. The small maybe is what we live for. The small maybes of life. Maybe I'll run into the love of my life. Maybe the career I love will love me back. Maybe this life is worth another try, she says, with a small but sharp sigh. So quiet that only another maybe could hear it. And maybe someday the two maybes turned their sighs into laughter and their ears into their most used part of themselves. Who knows? Maybe. Even horrible things have to start. What's the point of trying if all I do is wrong? He thinks the second part of the sentence, why am I guilty until proven innocent? I am a New York journalist. My birthday is on the 24th of December 1994. I just turned 30. It's Christmas and I'm alone in all the ways a soul can be and a body cannot be. I am 1 meter 95, 58 centimeters. Or in feet, that's 6 feet 5 inches. I know I shouldn't be so exact. And to be honest, I'm not even such a numbers guy. But that's partially how the world has defined me. And since it's one of the few positive traits I get complimented on, I keep it close. Like a lonely woman and her Birkin. I swear I'm not as shallow as I sound, he says to his date, Annabelle, who clearly is just as annoyed at life as he is. They both do the first date angry tango. They both thought at least twice, well, you seem nice. Why are you still single? But what they actually ended up saying was, what do you bring to the table? He says. His date replies, nothing. We are at a restaurant, so last I checked, that's the waiter's job. Then she fell into a laugh so deep you would have thought she was a comedian who just hit a comedic home run. That was the first page and one sentence of the second page of my fiction book. It's called The Great Souls Disconnect. If you also just look up my name, Anna Cobbler, I will put it here how to type it, and also it's my username. You can check it out on Amazon. It's available on Kindle and hardcover. Look at this cover. I hope you enjoyed those trailers of my books, and if you want to read on, order them on Amazon. Everything is linked in the description, always. And you can also always look it up under my name, Anna Cobbler. Thanks.